most pharmaceutical companies, most of these new companies can contract out with what are called CROs, contract research organizations. So a lot of these for-profit companies, you don't need to have your own drug development team. You contract that out to companies that do this all the time. So I think what smart investors really need to be thinking about is, first off, the cost structure. It is more expensive when you contract out like this than when you build it on your own. But that's a lot of work. The other part is really to think about what is the niche? What is the actual product that people are talking about, and how does it really relate to the other products in the space? So, for example, there are several companies that are now trying to develop new molecules that they can patent. And several, Atai and Tacgen, are two companies that are trying to develop new MDMA-like molecules. So if they succeed, you need to make the question, yes, they can get a patent on it, but how different is it going to be from MDMA? And, maybe it's shorter acting, or maybe they figure that they can do it milder. So the idea would be you take it at home on your own and you process stuff without therapists. That seems very dubious to me. But I think you can make a great story about what you're going to develop with these new molecules, but how is it fundamentally different than what's going to be available from psilocybin? Mm-hmm. So Field Trip, for example, has talked about how they have a shorter acting psilocybin like molecule, and they've got a patent on it, and they're going to develop it. So it's an interesting thought. Can you have a 2-hour session instead of a 6-hour session? And how productive will that be? Will you need 3 2-hour sessions to equal 1 6-hour session? Or, so it's not clear to me that shorter acting molecules are going to be a big breakthrough. But maybe. So there's a bit of a gamble there. The other part I think smart investors need to realize is that there's so much fundamentals that are shifting. So right now, insurance companies don't have a code for an 8-hour session, meaning, we're going to have to create new agreements with insurance companies to get them to cover an 8-hour MDMA session. But I think that's going to come because what they're going to look at is the outcomes. And if the outcomes are really good, and if the outcomes are cost effective, they will find a way to cover it. So I think some of these stories about we're going to get a shorter acting molecule, it's unclear to me whether that's going to really be a great business model, but it could be. So I won't say that it couldn't be.